sir.
I agree with this gentleman about legal fact. Legal power is expensive. People power like this, we should have more of these meetings, and it should be widely covered by the media. That's my recommendation. Second, for Janine, Janine, you should carry a picture of Mary. Maybe it's your partner with you all the time, and for all the hijab-wearing ladies, that hijab is not a symbol of terrorism.
We're very lucky to have the Montgomery County media here with us tonight. So
Yes,
thanks very much for being here. We have the lady with the green.
Identify yourself. Another media.
Oh, okay, another media. Thank you for being here. I think with that, unless there are more questions, we'll move on to the next part of the meeting. So there's one more question, and you, two more. Okay, you, yes,
Yeah,
Samira.
I don't know really how to word it, but Maya and maybe our board members can answer this. So the Montgomery County model, is it involved in the schools? Do you know that anything that they are doing in the schools? Because there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to defer to our Board of Education. I know from what we looked at that was happening in Montgomery County, one of the most important flags that we raised was that our counselors, our teachers, professional educators would be part of a process where they would identify thoughts as radical and therefore potentially problematic. And I know that this is America and that's just not what we do. So part of it was really, I think, indicative of why we had so many concerns about the CBE programming. One of the indicators it would use to say whether or not someone was potentially at risk involved things like being isolated, expressing concern about U.S. foreign policy. There's some of them literally, like I have a 14-year-old and a 13-year-old, so some of them are literally exactly the way your annoying teenager behaves. Like it's just one of those things that just did not make sense, and it was very alarming to think that government resources were being dedicated to something like this. So that's the first point. The second part of it is, if you want to spend some time sort of saying, what's this about? The FBI created, as part of CDE programming, a website called Don't Be a Puppet. It's very bad, I'm sorry to say. But if you spend some time looking at that, and that was designed specifically to be used in classrooms like here at a high school like this, where a kid was supposed to go through the process. So when we looked at it as adults, it wasn't designed to appeal to us. It was specifically this age group. And if you look at it, I think anybody objectively just sort of coming in to say, what is this about, looking at that website would really get a better sense of why this type of programming is generally ineffective, not based in any real science, and again, targets a community and targets ideas that may or may not be important, that may or may not be good. But the point is, it's not how we do things here. I mean, we don't decide things are radical ideas and have to go after them that way. And I don't know if our colleagues at the school board want to offer anything after that.
I didn't actually hear the question very loudly. Two things I just want to say. I'm not a lawyer. I don't practice law. But to the legal questions, I don't know if you're familiar with the organization Muslim Advocates. They are lawyers. They do great work around all of these issues. I'm a supporter, so I encourage you to just look them up because they are on top of these issues right now. It's Muslim Advocates.
It is. It's MuslimAdvocates.org, but they do policy work the way we do policy work. So, but they do. You're absolutely right. They just launched a lawsuit with the Southern Poverty Law Center and another group specifically responding to this, UMA versus Trump. And it looked at the impact of the travel ban on specific communities and how to push back. But it's a little different than what you were talking about, but very important.
And then, oh, sorry.
I was just going to answer to the other pieces that we do have an Office of Equity Initiatives where we're doing cultural proficiency trainings for all of our schools, and I think that we're going to be doing more of that this coming summer for professional development so that all our staff will have that training. I mean, it's all about educating our community and forming those relationships and learning how to collaborate and understand people who are different from your own, which is the backbone of our education system. And I can say, at, you know, different schools, I have one kid at Wheaton High School, one kid at Blair High School, and they've done a number of initiatives there. I know Watkins Mill has done some stuff as well. At Blair High Schools, they had a whole week just based on race. And they had 350, 300, 400 students talking about their backgrounds, issues they face, barriers, challenges, where students were talking to students and in different structures to talk about race. And I think the more of that we do, the better. Just as an example.
Last question from
Thank you very much, and I think that Montgomery County School Board has been really strong leaders on these issues of multiculturalism and acceptance and stuff. But we would like to have the opportunity to talk with members of the board about our concerns about the countering violent extremism program and how the schools are engaging with it, because we feel like it's very counter to what the schools have been doing on multiculturalism. So we'll follow up with you on that. And
Yeah, I haven't heard of that before, so it'll be interesting to find out more about it.
Selena, last question.
It sounds like there's a lot of official othering happening of Arab Muslim people from outside of the schools that are kind of being acceptable. It doesn't reflect how we feel on the ground. So what can the community do to push back? Like, what can we do to support our young people now? Well, I mean, it's going to go out to policy, but like to sort of be the voices of like, don't listen to them. Because I remember like, we talked about slavery in my high school and how they caught I didn't get, you know, I get a sense of the feeling that kids might be going through right now. You know, that's our biggest sibling out.
I mean, I would start by saying one of the most important examples that Jeanette has to offer us in this case is that I don't think you're intentionally targeted, right? There was a situation where there simply wasn't awareness about the impact that simple religious practice could have on her ability to do something she loves to do and is good at. So in this situation, the lesson, I think I said hello and then I said you taught a lesson to all of us. So I'd love to hear more, I think, from you on that point.
so the question was, what can we do to support our youth? I feel a lot of support. I feel a lot of love, especially since I feel like my mom had mentioned that I didn't know the magnitude that I was getting myself into. So just to be involved in activities like these and going to events like this and speaking out on my behalf, I think is a big step to people who feel threatened or feeling the time emotional to speak out about what's happening about them and just supporting them and then giving them the resources of what they can do to feel better and just to share their story. So I feel a lot of support and just speak about it.
And I think that's an example where it was, like I said, I don't think anyone intended to do harm. And then you have the other side of this, which is unfortunate and quite ugly, and that is we continue to see a level of bullying and discrimination and violence in some cases that's really unfortunate. The Department of Education built a very aggressive program in the past, I would say 4 years, on the issue of bullying in our schools. And when I said in some ways we're lucky to be here, I mean, we had an incident, someone was mentioning the rate increase in anti-Semitism. Those cases have been happening across the country in significant numbers. We had an incident, if you can believe it, our own middle school here in Montgomery County, where someone painted a swastika in one of our restaurants. So our kids have to come home and we have to explain what that is and what that's about in a post-election environment where people are, you made the point, othering. I mean, it's incredibly difficult for us to deal with it as adults. Imagine that you're dealing with it as an adolescent, as someone who's going through these experiences and you're 12, 13, 14. The core foundational pieces have been developed, but your sense of where you fit into that isn't always there. And so I think that's the piece of it where let's keep reinforcing when we have these opportunities to teach wonderful lessons, and let's respond very, very effectively with compassion and quickness on these issues to take them seriously when they do play out.
Thank you very much.